Hey everyone. So, who here loves slasher movies? I don't know what it is about slasher movies. I can watch them all day long. It's like my comfort food. There's something about, no matter how many times I watch them, they're so repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again, and I guess that's the reason why I love them. So, this is a really great honor to do this panel because we've got three of the most iconic slashers of the 80s right here. We have Blue David from The Burning. We have the great Ted White, who played Jason. Has a few fans here. Who here thinks that the final chapter was one of the best Friday the 13th movies? Of course, the legendary Nick Castle from Halloween, the original. I have to apologize for my voice. I'm having too much fun this weekend. That's the problem. Lack of voice means too much fun. But let's just, I guess, start by saying, first of all, how each of you got the role in the first place. Do you want to start, Luke?
Okay. Gripped our show too. I don't want to strangle anybody with this. No, you're all right. Well, I went up for the role. What can I tell you? There was a lady named Joy Todd in New York who used to handle a lot of casting. And she sent me over to something which I thought was going to be an audition, but as soon as I walked in, they said, we're ready to fit your costume, you're great. So, who was I to argue about something like that? I didn't have to read any lines, I didn't have to scream at the time. That was about it.
And Ted?
Thanks for asking.
I think mine was just a little bit different.
Okay.
I got a call to come into the studio to read. I read for a part, and when I was finished, I met with the director and the producer, and they said, well, Ted, we think we're going to hire you. And I said, that's fine. What part do I play? And he said, well, you play Jason. And I said, well, wait a minute. Jason doesn't say anything, he just kills people. And they said, well, we think your size is what we need, and you've been a stuntman for a few years, and you might be able to handle the part. And I said, well, I think I can handle it, but I don't want the job. And they said, well, you mean you don't? I said, no, I don't care. I don't do this type of movie. And at that time, I'm not trying to act stuck up. I had done a lot of major motion pictures, and that's my forte, and that's what I felt like I was meant to do. So I walked out. Well, right around the corner from my house lived a prop man that worked on that show. And he came over to the house. He said, I hear that you went in and read for the part. And I said, well, I did. And what happened? I said, I turned it down. He said, Ted, you must be out of your mind. They have to make a plaster cast from your waist up, and you're going to be on hold for 6 weeks. Now, when you're on hold in the motion picture business, both these guys know what I'm talking about, you're on full pay. I said, are you kidding me? 6 weeks on hold? He said, I picked up the phone. I said, I've been giving several thoughts to this. You know how Green raises its ugly head when it comes to money. Well, I said, I think I've reconsidered, and you seem like a nice man. I'm going to go ahead and take the job. I have never, ever regretted it. In fact, I regretted that I was offered a chance to do 5 and 6 and turned them down. But I've never met, and I'm saying this not because you're sitting here, because I'm taking $20 out of your pocket. I have enjoyed you people immensely. None of you have ever been nasty, sarcastic. You've always been a great crowd, and it's been my pleasure to come here and sign autographs for you. Thank you.
Hey Nick, how did you maybe tell us your story?
Okay, hi guys.
First of all, well, my story is different too, because I'm not an actor and never and can't. I just don't have any ability like these people. I was a film student with John Carpenter at the University of Southern California and graduated with him, and we did movies there. When he was prepping this movie, he had already done a few others. I was in the midst of trying to mount my own movie for directing, and I went down to the set, which was probably a mile from my house, and started watching them set up, and asked John if I could just hang around the set while he shot the movie. And he said, yeah, okay, well, why don't you just be the guy then? That's why I'm here today. If you were John's friend from film school, you would have been the shape. Since then, the mythology goes, John says that he always liked the way I walked or something. I'm not sure. I think I was just convenient. But in any case, he put the mask on me, and the rest is history. And I would like to also, I thought that was wonderful the way you described the reaction you've had to the fans here. I for a long time did not come to any of these thinking for the same reason, in a way. I was not much of an actor in this. I just had the thing on. John's the person you really want the signatures from. If you want to have my signature from some of the movies I directed or wrote or something like that, I can understand. So, but I was mistaken, and coming here has been a lot of fun, and as he mentioned, everyone's just been so sweet, and it's been a lot of fun to meet y'all.
Ted has a story about John Carpenter, and it's going to be a lot better than Nick's. I'll tell you that.
He brought his name up, and I have to tell you what kind of a person he is. I went in for a reading for Starman. I don't know, any of you here see Starman? Yeah. And I went in to read for the part of Deer Man. Well, we're doing the part, and in the very end, I have a fight with Jim, not Jim, who was my heavy man?
Richard.
Jeff Bridges. And after that, I start chasing him in a car. Well, as it's supposed to happen, the car's supposed to run into a bus. It was a Greyhound bus. And we were all lined up ready to do the shot. And the executive producer walked out the car and he said, Ted, by no means I don't want any water. No, he didn't say that. He said, by no means do you touch this bus. It's a rented bus and it's brand new. And the bus cost over $150,000. Do not touch it with the car. I said, fine, we won't touch it. So we backed up. John Carpenter walked over to the car and he said, Ted, I want you to stuff that car into the bus. This is his friend, John Carpenter. I said, John, are you sure? He said, I'm directing this picture. You stuff the car into the bus. Now, we had a stuntman there coordinating the show, and his name was Terry Leonard. So after he walked away, Terry Leonard came over and he said, you remember what the producer said? Do not touch the bus. And then turned to walk, and he walked away before I had a chance to explain to him. So they hollered action, and I had 3 other guys in the car with me, and I said, hang on, boys, we're going for a ride. Well, we whacked that bus in the bottom of the luggage department and smashed it all in. And here comes the producer. Now, the window was down on the driver's side, and I'm driving. And he said, you dirty, and I won't go into the words. And he grabbed me by the neck and started choking me. And I'm trying to holler, but I can't. John Carpenter saved my life. He came up and he said, no, I told Ted to do it. He said, it's my fault. So your good friend John Carpenter really got me killed.
I never worked with John. I love the story, and I just wanted to go on record as echoing these two gentlemen as far as this audience is concerned, and your kid and Ken, you've been terrific. Wonderful. More than I think I deserve sometime. But anyway, thank you very much. Welcome.
It's true that horror fans are extremely loyal people. They love their movies and everything like that. And I guess at the time that you were making the movie, did you ever think that you were going to have a fan base for doing this? And at what moment did you discover that you did have a fan base?
Frankly, I did not believe that I would have a fan base for that movie. I had no idea. And in the dictionary, under the term pleasantly surprised, there is my picture. So, once again, thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
I'll say something. Oh, no, I mean, I was, when I did the movie, I was just hoping that everyone, including myself, didn't get embarrassed by the whole affair. So and also that John would be able to get another movie after this. So when I saw it in the theater, the first week it opened, I believe, in Hollywood, and everyone was just, I knew when I was going to come out and stab somebody, but they didn't. So I was shocked when that, when the surprise and the shock enveloped the audience. So that was great. But no, as far as having fans, I'm still kind of amazed that there's the interest in this, in me as a particular character. I finally realized and kind of discovered, I've done 3 of these now. The first time I kind of discovered that really a lot of that is people wanting to fill out, kind of like you're a stamp collector. You want to get all the shapes, you want to get all the characters. I mean, I didn't understand the interest in the genre as such. So that was enlightening. But it's been fun, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't know what you want to hear, but I guess I better give you another story. I went on a picture called Portrait in Black with Lana Turner, Anthony Quinn up in San Francisco.
Just 5 years ago, right?
Yeah. I had just come back from Utah on a Western, and I walked in a 5-star hotel in San Francisco with a pair of Levi's on, run-down boots, and a Please Don't Rain suitcase, and walked up to the desk, and I waited and waited, nobody came, and I finally started ringing the bell, and here come 2 or 3 people, and I knew in the business. I'd only been in the business a few years, and I said, my name is Ted White, I'm with Paramount Studios. They said, Mr. White? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, I'd like to direct you. You don't have to, everything's taken care of. And I said, it is? And he said, yeah. I said, this way. And I started the elevator, and he said, no, over here, this elevator. And I went to a private elevator. And I said, what is it? He said, this is a private elevator to your room. I said, something is dreadfully wrong. I don't have private elevators to rooms. He took me up to this beautiful room and opened up, and there was a great big horseshoe bar loaded with all the liquor you could think of. On the coffee table was a great huge basket of fruit covered with cellophane, and he said, good luck. Well, that day I went to work, the next day I went to work rather, and I told the crew, I said, boys, I got a bar full of liquor, come on up and enjoy it. The crew, probably 80 guys showed up, and they drank, and there wasn't anything hardly left. They ate all the fruit. Well, I went to bed, got up, went to work. When I came back, all the liquor was back and the fruit was back. Well, this went on for 2 days. It's a true story. We started working nights, and we were down on the beach. And I started down, it was about 8 o'clock in the evening. As I'm walking down, I see Anthony Quinn sitting over here, and 2 other gentlemen sitting over here with suits on, and had a big 55-gallon drum with a fire in it because it was a little cold. As I walked up, Anthony Quinn said, hey, Ted, how you doing? I said, fine. He said, boy, the crew loves you. And I said, well, I'm happy. I said, boy, I got a great room. And one of the guys in the suit said over there, said, you work for this company? And I said, yeah. What's your name? I said, Ted White. He said, you son of a bitch, I'm Ed White. I'm the executive producer, and I'm in a broom closet. I didn't have to pay for the liquor.
One of the really cool things about slasher movies is that they sometimes ended up being sort of launching pad for actors to have bigger careers to go on to. And each one of these films has certain actors like that. So in The Burning, there was Jason Alexander, who of course, became very famous with Seinfeld, as well as Holly Hunter. Do you have any memories of meeting them or what they were like on set, Lou?
I met them briefly, then they died somehow. Everywhere I went, people had a way of, started to get a complex after a while. Also, this burning feeling inside. Anyway, Jason, even, I'll tell you something about Jason Alexander. His name was something else, and I don't want to give him, in quotes, the wrong name, but he went to school with a nephew of mine in New Jersey, and he used to keep to himself a lot, and, wondering about Jason, I mean, where the heck did you come up with this persona? Even though at that time he was a smart aleck, and it even came out on the film, I kind of wasn't too unhappy about, what happened to Jason, as a matter of fact. What's the expression? Snot nose? But anyway, he's a good guy. Holly Hunter, I didn't have, I just saw her paddling away in the raft. That's anybody's last sight of her. Well, what are you going to do? Easy come, easy go. Anyway, that's about it for that.
And Ted, do you have any memories of Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, that's right.
Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover, do you have any memories of them on set, what they were like?
Oh, I do have memories of that. Nice little lovable kid. Well, I'd like to say that I enjoyed working with him, but I didn't. I pinched a little rascal every time I got close to him because he was a very mischievous boy. But all in all, a kid that age doing what he did, I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a real good job. But I never saw him again for the 24 years until 4 months ago, and I was at a convention in the eastern part of the United States, and he was signing there in another room. And he came over, and as he walked toward me, put his hand out, he said, "There's no hard feelings." I said, "No, Corey, there's no hard feelings." So it was fun in the end, and he turned out to be a nice kid.
And what about Crispin Glover? Did you have any memories of working with him? Crispin Glover? No, don't remember. He was one of the actors. He's the one that he's hanging up like this.
Well, I killed so many of those dudes, I can't remember.
He's a corkscrew through his hand.
Well, I'm just a born killer. I mean, I gored in that. It was just a lovely feeling to be killing all those kids. But all in all, I did feel sorry for a lot of those kids. A lot of them was the first time in a feature, and they did their very best, and I think it came out halfway decent, and people seemed to enjoy it. So I have nothing bad to say about them. I wish them all the well, and hope that they went on with a good future.
Okay. And Nick, what about working with Jamie Lee Curtis? What was she like?
Yeah, let me see. Jamie probably was about 18, 19 years old, I think, when this movie was made, and probably in 77. Really, not a lot of specific memories or great stories. I got to start doing stories. But I just remember, there's a lot of downtime in movies, and she was one of the people that you just hung out with and had a nice time. I mean, did anyone go to the Indianapolis event when where she signed for the one and only time? No one here? Wow, you missed that one, boy. That was great. She did it for charity, and just like you could imagine, for coming out, doing all that work, and doing it for no money, and just doing it for, I think it's cancer research for children. She's just a remarkable woman, really great, very funny, and just grew up to be a great person.
Great. So I'd like to open it up now if there's any questions from the audience. Yes, sir. In the back.
Did any of you guys take home any props for the sets? Like, do you know what happened to the original Michael Myers mask, or who has like the Jason mask, or is there any cool relics you guys held on to?
It's the question is, did any of you take home any cool props from it, like the original Halloween mask or the Jason mask?
Oh, I do
Or
that all
I
the
know where they
time.
are.
It's not a good habit to steal props because once you take them home and they try to do another take later on, no prop. But several of the actors that I've worked with over the years do take their wardrobe home and keep them. I'm not going to name them because most of them are dead now. No, you don't steal props, although I do have one on my table now that was stolen.
And what would that be?
It's one of the masks.
He didn't steal it, though. No.
I can tell you, he's got his hand up back there.
Oh no, you go. You still got a story.
No, I'll wait.
Okay. But Nick has a story about his Halloween mask.
But on masks?
Or Lou, did you steal the hedge clippers? Did you get to take those home?
That's a good, that's an excellent question. No, I didn't steal the hedge clippers. I find it very inconvenient, and I always, if you want to, well, let's put it this way. Hedge clippers, the way the airlines are set up nowadays, you can't really hide them on an airplane. So I generally, if anybody did steal them, they would be very foolish to take them with them to convention. You know, that's all I have to say about that. A little snippet, one might say. Sorry.
Yes, in answer to your question, I did. I received. I didn't even have to steal. I received the mask from Deborah Hill, the producer of Halloween, as a parting gift. I kept it in my office, on like a mannequin head, for whatever amount of time it was between the first and the second. When the second came around, the second Halloween came around, Deborah said, "Can we borrow that? Because they're trying to make a mask that looks like that, and everyone is having a hard time. So if we get the original, and then we'll bring it back." Never got it back. That rat. But, so that's my story.
Another question? Yes, sir.
Yes, my question is for Nick Castle. Now, I understand that that near the end of Halloween, where Michael Myers takes off his mask, that they had actually used another actor. I believe his name was Tony Moran. So, why did they need to use another guy for that scene?
I'll repeat that. Did everyone hear that? Oh, okay. Oh, yes. The reason that they went with a different actor for the moment when they took the mask off is they didn't want someone quite as handsome as me. No. Yes, they wanted a different look, and I think I just heard actually someone at the booth where I'm at say that they had heard that they wanted a kind of angelic face, not a rough manly face. So I think it was just for a certain look. That's it.
Is it weird instead of not talking in a movie when you guys are filming it and instead of killing them for not having any lines? Is that kind of weird?
So what is it like to act in a film when you have no dialogue?
It's wonderful. Rarely do you get a chance to irate the director, get all the actors upset, and walk away. You don't have a thing to say. Another little quick story about Friday the 13th, since we're all that kind of people. We were shooting in the bottom of a canyon. It was very cold in January, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And this was the death scene of Jason, where the mask was off and the hatchet had gone through half of his head. So I had all the gear on, all the plastic on, and had the cut up here, and then had the blood running down the side of my head. And we have what they call a honey wagon and dressing room, which is parked up on the highway, and the honey wagon is the toilet, and the dressing room is where we go to, when we're not shooting, take a rest. And I was walking back up there, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and a car pulled up, and there were 2 black gentlemen in the car. And as I came around the front of the car, the guy stuck his head out and said, "Yo, Bo, what's going on here?" And I walked up, put my head in the car, I said, "Well, we're shooting." He said, "Jesus Christ." I got to tell you, I never thought about, I had all this equipment on me, and I was really going to answer his question and say we're shooting a movie, but I never had a chance.
Well, I understand, Ted, that you had a special relationship with Joseph Zito. Can you talk about what that was like working with him?
Well, I hate to talk about the dead. Joe Zito did a fine job of directing. We had a little bit of a problem in as much as these kids were not experienced, and Joe had a schedule to keep, and he had a first assistant standing over him, and both these men know what I'm talking about. They're pushing all the time. We had several little things that happened that he didn't take enough time with these young people working to explain to them that he was in a bind as well as to get the shots done and get out of there as soon as possible. I guess most of you read the story about the girl in the little rubber canoe, rubber raft out on the lake. If you haven't, I'll say it for the 1000th time. She was in a bikini, and she was freezing to death. She actually was turning blue. And the reason she was, they had used up all the film and were reloading the camera, and they were waiting for the other load to come in before they could get the new load. And she asked the director, said, "Could I get out of the, I'm freezing to death." And he said, "No, just be a few minutes, stay in there." And I looked at her, and she was actually turning a little bit blue. And I said, "Joe, let her please get out." He said, "Ted, mind your own business. She's got to stay." And I said, "No, she's going to get out, or I'm going to walk off the film, one or the other. Now, what do you want to do?" He said, "What do you mean you're going to walk?" I said, "I quit, just that simple. Get her out of the canoe, out of the little rubber raft, is all right." He said, "Okay." So we brought her in, got her out. Well, Joe and I didn't get along from that day on. That was just one incident, and I felt that throughout the entire show, he never gave them the consideration they deserved for doing what they were doing. Because it was not easy to have a man my size come at you, and do these different types of killings and not have the fear of God in them, because none of them had an idea that they weren't going to get hurt. As much as I tried to persuade each and every one of them that I would do it very, very gently, but it would look wild, and it would look like I was trying to kill them. No matter how many times I explained it to them, if you saw the fear in their face, most of that time it was real. It truly was real. That's all I can say about Mr. Zito. I don't have anything good to say.
Brian, this is actually for the whole panel. Were any of your kills kind of impromptu? Like, we'll let you kind of do whatever you want as far as the kill scenes?
Were any of the kill scenes kind of ad-libbed or improv,
yeah.
or were you given specific directions of exactly what you're going to do?
No, each killing was storyboarded. Let me explain what storyboarding is. We have an artist come in and work with the director, and he draws out the exact scene that's going to be shot as much as he can. So each killing was storyboarded and had gone over with the director, the producer, the executive producer, and me. So no, none of it was just randomly done. Everything was planned to the very last bit. In the entire show, we only had one person hurt, and it was a stunt girl. When she came off the balcony and went to the floor, down to the floor below, she went through the balcony rail, which is balsa wood. Most of you know what that is. That's a very light wood you can break with your fingers. When she went over, a piece of wood went down ahead of her, excuse me, and caught her in the elbow, and put about a 3-inch gash in her elbow. Other than that, nobody got hurt on the entire film.
What about, do you have anything to add to that, Nick, about?
No, John is very hands-on in terms of the kind of planning he does. So everything is pretty much, if he didn't have a storyboard, he had a shot list that was very specific about what he wanted. I mean, the kills are all very, very specific, and why they're so scary usually is because they're thought through as part of the shot, you know, so the way the character comes into the frame and stuff like that is the reason that you're jumping when you do that. I mean, there were things that were improvisational. Like, some people have asked me, one of their scariest moments or moments they remember is when the character of the Shape does like a sit-up into the shot just before he tries to attack Jamie Lee Curtis, and that was something I came up with on the set.
Killing is a very precious thing. It's definitely choreographed. You can't improvise something like that. Somebody's liable to get really hurt if they're not expecting a sudden move. You know, that's pretty obvious. That's not to say that I didn't want to kill for real some people connected with the movie. I'll leave you with one thought. That thought is couched in the initials HW. Thank you. That's all I'll say about it.